As we've explored before in detail on the channel, Darth Revan is one of the most learned and powerful Jedi, as well as Sith Lords that have ever existed in all of Star Wars lore. Darth Revan was one of the most committed to learning all of the secrets of the Force that he could, mastering light as well as dark. This, coupled with his natural, insane ability to touch the Force, one that led many to believe that Revan could in fact have been the Chosen One, caused him to become one of the most influential figures in galactic history among the Jedi as well as the Sith. Darth Revan absolutely belongs in the top tier combatants list that have ever existed in all of Star Wars, as his command over the Force was unrivaled. What made him so deadly though was his command over not only the dark side, but his express interest in the light, and melding the two philosophies and taking from pieces of each that made him so influential, dangerous, and massively more powerful than any Sith Lord of his era, except with the exception of the Sith Emperor and Vitiate. Darth Revan was so influential in fact that the Jedi and Sith alike both erected statues to his honor. The Sith had known a different version of Darth Revan, someone who was intelligent, cunning, conniving, and would do anything to prove his superiority. And the Jedi knew a philosopher, a student himself, and one of the wisest Jedi masters that had ever lived. They each knew Revan, but they each knew a different aspect of who the true Revan was. Today though, we'll be delving into his darker nature and discussing the terrifying Force ability that Darth Revan recorded using only a single time, but in this single usage sent ripples through the Force, as well as how Darth Revan pioneering this ability led to Darth Sidious's power to destroy entire worlds using it. So welcome back to the channel, students of the Force, as today we open up yet another holocron, exploring the ancient Sith Master and Jedi, Lord Revan. When describing this Force ability that we'll be exploring today, Darth Revan used words in his holocron such as ferocity and terror, an ability that was recorded within his holocron that would later be passed down to Darth Bane and eventually Darth Sidious. Darth Sidious is important here, as he is the individual that would master the power that Darth Revan began experimenting with all those years ago. Darth Sidious also perfected the ability to its maximum degree, calling it the most powerful dark side ability he had ever experienced, and the single ability that put him above the power of any Sith Lord that had come before him, and any planet-destroying weapon. This was a sentiment shared with Darth Revan. However, Darth Revan was not able to bring it to the level that it could destroy entire worlds. Darth Sidious would eventually achieve this, and today we will be discussing the dark side ability, the ultimate ability of a Force storm, and how Darth Revan actually made it possible for Darth Sidious to destroy entire planets. I'm sure many of you have heard of Darth Sidious's variation of a Force storm, and how he used the dark side in tandem with the Force storm to open up wormholes, essentially sending his Force storm through these wormholes and allowing him to destroy any planet, battle station, or people from across the entire galaxy, and making him a near Force god. Darth Sidious could scorch the surfaces of entire planets, sending the storm to them, but even as Sidious noted, once conjuring the storm, he could merely aim it rather than control it entirely. In the Book of the Sith, Sidious said this: "With this knowledge, I can unleash the dark side energies that swirl invisibly around us, even to shatter the fabric of space itself. In this way, I have created storms." Luke Skywalker would even go on to note that it was a storm, but a storm not caused by anything natural. Essentially, Darth Sidious made all of the dark side energies around him tangible, causing them to swirl together with his own malice and hatred. But it was Darth Revan that would discover one key component in conjuring this ability. Darth Revan stated that this was the most destructive Force ability he had ever seen, and even hypothesized that it may be the greatest degree of the dark side itself. In Revan's holocron, he specifically states that he is not the originator of this ability, but rather somebody that took it to its next stage. All other Sith Lords before that had attempted to use a Force storm perished to their own power. As Revan would learn, you could not control the storm once it was created, and as Sidious perfected, he could only aim it and guide it. In the end, after discovering this, Revan deemed it too dangerous to be used often. Darth Revan also stated that the key emotion involved with a Force storm was that of hatred. hatred, using hatred to essentially open up a gateway between the invisible forces of the dark side that surrounds everything. Revan then stated that he would use his own force lightning, brought to its highest degree in itself, and channel it through this portal to the darkness, letting the dark side energy that surrounds the galaxy invisibly and giving it physical form, placing his palms upward and summoning the darkness, instead of letting all of the energy dispel outwards though. Once the portal was opened and the connection was made, the utilizer of the ability would undertake the most deadly step, allowing all of the dark side energies to flow through their body as a sort of conduit, letting it build until the moment where they could no longer stand it and expelled the energy outwards in the creation of the Force Storm, disintegrating anybody in the vicinity that was not the conjurer of the ability. It is stated in the holocron that Revan was the first individual to create a sort of tornado using this unstable dark side energy, and that he was the first one to attempt to aim it. Darth Sidious was of course the one that created a full-on storm. Revan was the first to discover an inkling of its potential power. The first time Revan conjured this, it created a literal disturbance through the Force, with both Jedi and Sith sensing it, sensing that something terrible had entered their galaxy. This is incredible, as every Jedi and Sith in existence at this period of time sensed Revan's conjuring of a Force storm. That is how insanely powerful this dark side ability was. In terms of other Sith Lords that were able to command this ability, I will now list them, many of whom learned it directly from the holocron of Revan. Here are some of the most powerful Darksiders in Star Wars history that have managed to use this ability correctly and not have it backfire. We have Darth Sidious, Galen Marek, Lord Vitiate, the Outlander, Darth Nihilus, and the Sith Lord Darth Nox. But now, my friends, I turn it over to you. What are your thoughts on this discovery and pioneer on behalf of Revan? What are your thoughts on how it is because of Darth Revan that Darth Sidious achieved the ultimate power in the dark side as a Force Storm? What are your opinions on Revan and how he is greatly admired by both Jedi and Sith alike? As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching and continuing to support the channel. It means the absolute world to me. May the Force be with you always, and have a great day.